Hey, ladies, how are you today? We are on month 9, week 3 regarding discipline. And discipline is a subject that is so dear to my heart because I feel like discipline is an avenue to all success. It is an incredible tool and it's a friend. So I want you to think about it that way. We've kind of touched upon the concept that discipline sounds like, punishment or something that's strict or rigid, but it's the creation of freedom. And that's what I love about discipline is that all these disciplines that we put in our life are signs of self-love. And I want you to consider that for this week, that self-love is creating things that you do, structure that you place to hold yourself up, to hold your life up, to create something that's beautiful for you. And, we were discussing this in one of our staff meetings. We were talking about, it was something that I was saying to my staff. I was saying that we create systems for our staff. We have all of these things in place, and they require a lot of work on the back end. The administrative staff at Lager Counseling Services has to do so much to systematize things and to create a PowerPoint and to give a structure to allow like the clinicians to be able to do the thing that they do with ease and simplicity. So a lot of times what has happened, even, in our culture, that when people have put disciplines in place, they've made them so rigid and they've made them so complicated that they become bureaucratic and they become busy work and hard to do. And that's not what we're talking about here today. We're talking about creating simplicity, creating ease and peace. So when you think about discipline, I want you to think about self-love, about peace, about creating the life that you want, about having things in place so that you can focus on other things. Because when we create habits that are disciplines, they become just a part of us. So then we don't have to think about them anymore. So if you know that you're dedicated and you have a belief system or a core value or a vision for your future that you want to be fit, and you want to live a fit lifestyle. So then the disciplines that fit within that. And they don't have to be deprivation. So I want to make that super clear to you guys that when you're thinking about your disciplines, don't think about them as depriving yourself. And make sure that when you're creating a discipline, it isn't about deprivation. There's some goodness to that too, because it's something about periods of time where you do things for mental toughness. I've done that. I did 75 hard. And what that is that I had to follow 5 critical tasks every single day for 75 days without fail. And if I failed, meaning if I did not do one of those tasks or I didn't do any part of any one of those tasks to completion, I would have to start over. And what that was I had to do 45-minute workout inside, 45-minute workout outside, but it also included you had to have a big space of time between those two, not a large space, about 3 hours, I believe. Then you had to drink 1 gallon of water every day, take a progress pic, and read 10 pages of a entrepreneurial or personal development book, and then no alcohol, and you also needed to stick to a health regime in terms of food. And that was up to you, whatever you wanted to do. My point in telling you this is that there would be, days that I went through the whole day where I did my indoor workout. I did every single thing I needed to do, drank 128 ounces of water, not 127, because if I drank 127, I would not be able to complete. I'd have to go back to day 1. So I could be at day 45 and it could be 12 o'clock at night and I just had a really long day and I did all of my disciplines, all of those critical tasks up until, let's say 12 at night, but I missed my outdoor workout. Now, the choice at that moment was to go to sleep or, and go back to day 1, or to go out. And literally, I'm not kidding you, I had to do this, go out in a physical storm where branches are falling off, trees and whipping winds, like rain, storm. And I'm not making this up. Like, this is real. This is a real experience. And I had that several times throughout the 75 days because it was, storming during that period of time. But anyhow, so what I had to decide because I was tired, and it would have been so easy to go to bed. And it was so hard to go outside and do that workout for 45 minutes outside. Think about it. Like, it was treacherous out. And I did it. And the reason that I did it, and I'm so grateful I did, because the reason that I did it was because I was developing something in me. It wasn't about weight loss. It wasn't about any of those other things. It was about developing mental toughness. And what created in me was a sense that hard things are not hard. And I really see things like that now. Hard things are not hard. So it's the meaning we attach to it. I came to absolutely love, and I'm not kidding, going out in these really, really treacherous, bad weather for my outdoor workout. I actually got high off of it, because it was like, wow, I'm doing this thing and I can do it. And it's not that hard. And, if I was thinking like, oh my God, it's so hard, it would have been, but it wasn't hard for me. I looked at it, I was like, no, it's going to be 45 minutes and I'm going to do the whole thing, and it's going to be actually fun, and I'm going to be invigorated as soon as I'm done. I was so tired, but when I came back in, I was like on fire. I was like electric, ready to, conquer the world at whatever time, 1 a.m. But my point to you is this, because I began with saying that this is about self-love. It's about creating a structure that makes life easier. But then what I was trying to say is that there's also periods of time where you want to really understand that making a discipline in order to create in you an understanding, a sense of relativity to difficulty. In our country, in America, or maybe our society, we have a tendency to shy away from discomfort, and we want to do the things that are easier. So I think that creating structure and doing things that are more difficult because they give you a better result is something that really, really feeds the soul, and it really, really puts things in perspective, and it makes life a lot easier. It makes life definitely easier. After I did 75 hard, life is easier for me. When I look at really hard situations, I'm like, I can adjust. And, being a person who can adjust is pretty cool. And so the thing is that, so I'm talking about kind of two things in regard to discipline. One is that you create it in order to have a life of more ease, but you also can utilize it to create a life of more ease by understanding that doing something that you have to adjust to, doing something that's not convenient, doing something that interrupts sleep, doing something that, leaves you hungry, or I don't know, wet and cold and just all those things, that it's not that bad. And when you push through those things, you become more of a disciplined person, which then is a much, much easier and simple life. So my point to you here is that when you're creating your disciplines, because that's what this month is about, I want you to create things that you can have in place that are going to, number one, bring you things that you really, really want in your life. Number two, going to make you a person who's more, what's the word? Flexible, resilient, able to stop saying you're uncomfortable. I hate that. Well, I don't want to do it because I'm uncomfortable. You know what? Just get off your ass and do the damn thing. So what? Discomfort is kind of overrated. You know what? Because when you do that thing and you create a trust for yourself, you've created a lifetime of confidence and just so many things that are so much better than feeling comfortable in the moment. Remember that. When you don't feel like doing the dishes, get off your ass and do them, because you know what? The outcome is going to be better than sitting there and not doing them. It's things like that. If I'm just using this as an example. If you want a clean house, then you have to clean it, or you have to have somebody clean it. If you want to be fit, then you have to do the things that create fitness. And all the things that block it are things that go against fitness or clean house or whatever it is you want. If you know that you want to create wealth, then that there's some disciplines that are super important to do that. One is mindset. That's the number one thing. If you want money, you got to have the right kind of money mind, or you won't have any. It's a guarantee. Whatever you believe about money, that's what you're going to have. So you need a disciplined mind. And I'm going to talk about that a lot next time, because that to me is everything. A disciplined mind is it. So I want you to think about now your structure, and creating structure with two things in mind. One is the ultimate goal is freedom and peace. But then, in order to get there, you want to create disciplines that create a habit and a simplicity around you that you don't have to think about them. And then, so in my point to the difficult discipline that I would have to go out in the wind, rain, storm, trees falling, my kids crying, "Mom, you're gonna die." No, I'm not. I'm gonna complete 75 hard. But anyhow, and I'm gonna die trying. But what that is that you're creating something that is going to be long lasting. When we have disciplines, this is an amazing thing too, is you learn time management. You learn how to order your time. If you have 5 really, critical tasks that you do each day and you're able to manage them, you learn how to do the other things around them. So now I just want you to, when you go over your, the thing that we're doing this week, I want you to just take your time and really consider, first of all, what you want in your life and what discipline is going to get you there. And you may want a thing in your life that requires a real ability that you're resilient and that hard things are not hard. So put things in place that are a little harder so that you get a little bit stronger, I'll see you next week. Bye, ladies.